11 now.
Okay.
It was very, very clear to me that I wanted to follow
that footstep.
a journey, in the financial sector space. So soon after finishing my secondary education at Roma Girls, I then went on to do a certificate in banking, which is a diploma at the Zambia Insurance Business College at the time. And after that, I was privileged enough to then do an honorary degree in financial services at the University of West of England in Bristol. Came back home, started my City career, and been at it now for the past 21 years. But soon after joining City, and I think it probably took me a couple of years, I discovered that I still needed to upskill myself.
Okay.
So I then embarked on an MBA with the Heriot Watt Business School, completed that, and that on its own taught me so much discipline because I was working and studying at the same time. But glad to say I completed that successfully, and it was a very, very rewarding experience. My education journey, I would want to say, is not yet over. Last year, I embarked on a leadership development program with the University of Pennsylvania, and this was around leading customer-centric growth. Okay. This year, currently at the moment, I'm on another leadership program, and this is now with MIT Sloan, and this is focusing on operational excellence. So hence me saying that I'm not yet done. I think education has been a great, great foundation for me, a good backbone, and a continuous reminder that as times are changing and evolving, it's always good to upskill oneself. So I'm not yet done.
So let's look at education. Yeah. And you come from a great pedigree, if you like. We're going to look at where education became a cornerstone. Like we said, you have Roma Girls producing 3 CEOs in the Zambian banking industry. You have yourself for Citibank, you have Mukwandi for Zanaco, and you have Mizinga at ABSA. How good was that school? Before we go to ask you, where did the emphasis for education come? From your roots, from your upbringing? Was it just something you got at school, or was it something that was intrinsic in your family?
So maybe to start off with Roma Girls, I'm very, very proud of Roma Girls. I think Roma Girls has produced such a great, great crop, and you find an ex-Roma girl in almost each and every sphere of our Zambian society. So yes, in the banking sector, there's myself, Mukwandi and Mzinga, both of whom were actually my seniors. So they are my big sisters.
So did they welcome you last April? So welcome to the club.
They did. Awesome. And I continue to lean on their support. Awesome. Because we're all in this together. So Roma Girls, yes, did provide great education for us. I think there as well, the discipline just around ensuring that the students did well, the students interacted well, was amazing, and really high thankfulness and appreciation to the nuns that run Roma Girls. Even up till today, it's still being run by the nuns. But that being said, aside from the strong education platform that they gave us, or instilled in all of us, given just other values that we were taught at Roma Girls, I cannot trade them in today for anything. Not only did I build great networks from just the relationships, but even just survival skill.
Wonderful.
Today, I think each ex-Roma girl can be thrown into probably anything and will be able to swim, will be able to survive. Above all, by the time I was now getting to my university life, I had learned how to live with people.
Wonderful. I
had learned how to communicate with people even just from different spheres of life, different backgrounds, because of Roma Girls. I was in boarding school. It was a boarding school at that time, and a good number of us were in boarding school. And when you're in boarding, you live life. I mean, majority of the year, you are with your fellow schoolmates, and therefore you make the most of it. You survive together, you share, you network, and those are things that nobody can ever take away from you.
And you bring into your space right now.
You bring it into your space, such that now, fast forward, yes, I'm in the corporate world, but I'm all embracing of different cultures. I'm all embracing of different opinions because of that experience of being in a boarding school. Now, back to your previous question.
I wanted to go there because I know how short the time is, and I think that the richness of who you are comes back from the little we know about you. A lot of people may not know that Chiba Secunda is actually a clan, and that name comes from there. Could you tell us about that and the emphasis on education?
So, I mean, you and I were chatting before, and you were asking me as well the question of the name. You know, it's a renowned name.
Very renowned name.
And to be honest, high appreciation once again to my grandfather. My grandfather was Chief Chiba Secunda, and he had a very strong emphasis on educating his children. And that, you can tell, is something that passed on as well even to our parents. I was raised in a home, yes, we were a family of five, or rather, you know, five of us in terms of children. But I cannot say that even in my upbringing, there was probably one single time when it was just us in the home as the children. We always did have extended family and even family friends that wouldn't just be there to visit, but would actually be there to stay with us. Because my parents were so all-embracing. They felt they needed to play their part in just not educating their own children, but even educating extended family and friends where they could assist. My mother is a teacher by profession, so you can imagine the how passionate she was on making sure, that she was able to pass on that teaching as well, and that emphasis on education to her children and even just those around her. Then my father as well, with his background and the emphasis that his father had where education was concerned, made sure, and he would always preach to us, that where you can, help one another. Don't just think of uplifting yourself. It's a question of uplifting even those around you, because you are the one as well who gets to see the benefit of it all. And that I've carried with me even into my life today, because it's not just about me being successful. It's about us. Us as a city team, us as an entire family, etc. So, that's what education can do for you.
So your father got that from your grandfather, and your grandfather, there was no discrimination as to male or female. Education was fundamental for everybody, starting from your grandfather, the chief himself, and that has passed on to you. Now, through your father, you chose to walk the path of banking. And when we see you that you have been in one bank for 21 years, your career life, more or less, that speaks a lot about you. It speaks about loyalty. Citibank is known for their hard work, their professionalism, their international flavor and flair, their inclusiveness, and all the things that go with a global brand in the financial sector. So that tells me that for you to have climbed for 21 years, now you're at the top of Zambia and you're still reading. Tell us, what did that bring to you? Was it that your qualities suited Citibank, or how did Citibank build you to become who you are in a male-dominated space?
Citi has done a lot. Citi has done a lot for me. Not only, yes, have I shown great loyalty to
which is rare today.
Which is rare, but I hope as well, in terms of me having this conversation, it will be an inspiration, especially to our millennials, that persistence, determination, and focus does pay. And for as long as one is able to see and be focused on where they want to head to, live the life, put in the hard work, because it will pay for, I mean, it will show its results, and it's really just a matter of time. I've been privileged in my Citi career, as you mentioned earlier, to have out of Zambia experience. But again, that's not something that just didn't land on my plate. No, it was also a question of me raising my hand to it. When you're asked those questions of, are you mobile, and you're not sure, you know, you're first doubting, should I say yes, should I say no? Again, those things probably do not work for you. But when you're very focused that, should I be asked if I'm mobile? Number one, you're working for a multinational, you're working for a global entity. Those chances might come about. So one has to then think ahead. Those experiences for me were fabulous. Not only did I learn how to maneuver in a larger economy than Zambia, but even just the experiences that you get from it, the interactions that you get from those experiences, the networks, etc., those things do work for you. Okay. So yes, it has been a journey of 21 years, but it's also taken a lot of hard work and a lot of determination and a lot of focus. But then, even as I have come to this stage now, I've also seen that it's important and it's of great value for one to be able to show how they would maneuver as well once they're stretched. Okay. You said it yourself that I came into this role, COVID hit us, yes, etc. How did that happen? How did I manage, etc. and all that. But it's really a question of having gone through a bit of crisis management, even in one's previous life, that you then get to realize that, okay, my own skill set commands of me to probably take a deep breath, take a step backwards, analyze, then see how best to move forward and to make the necessary decisions that obviously now at this point impact everybody. Okay. That aside, as well, my journey has also taught me the value of teamwork. It's not always about you making the decisions on your own. And employers as well do look out for those things. Like, okay, once we put this person as a leader, is it just going to be a question of her making decisions on her own? Or is she going to be embracing of others' thoughts and others' guidance? Because you cannot be an expert in everything on your own. So the experiences I've had in these 21 years is teamwork. It's also all about you being inclusive to those around you who are also subject experts in their own respective roles, and then being able to make a determination. Okay. So it's been a rewarding journey. It's been a growing journey. Yes. And above all, I was raised in a home, in a Catholic home. It's not just been about, yes, my parents provided, they gave us the education, etc., but it's also been a lot about our faith. Okay. And the importance of being able to put God first. Yes. And walking the journey, knowing that you have that backing as well with
from
you.
God.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have given me, and I'm looking at it because we have talked to several people from the whole spectrum of work, people in civil society, in politics, pioneers in the the women's movement. Now, you are in the corporate space, and in corporate Zambia, most people today, most young people want to work in the corporate space. You refer to the millennials, and we have the centennials. So you have 3 generations in one space right now. And they will listen to you, and a lot of people will think, CEO like that, 5 years, you've been 20 years, but you gave us certain words: focus, commitment, courage. You said you want to put up your hand when that opportunity comes. You also refer to preparation, getting yourself, but 2 things you have put together here is education and God. There was your faith. So I take that from this and I put it in a basket and I say these things matter. Now, it is one thing to put the recipe book, but how do you cook it? So if you're talking to that person there that wants to be you tomorrow, 21 years, what's my roadmap? What must I do? What did you do? Did you see yourself CEO in 21 years? Or did you have a vision you were pursuing and it is not yet over, but you are here now? What are you saying to that person over there? Particularly the girl.
Yes. So, Rome wasn't built in a day. We all know that saying. And the first important thing is you need to start from somewhere. Majority of the time, yes, we can be impatient. And by the way, it's not a problem to be impatient. Nobody is faulting anyone for being impatient. if anything, it's kind of like good to be impatient, because then you're giving yourself even specific timelines of I should have at least done this by this age, etc.
There should be an urgency for you to grow.
Exactly, and it's a roadmap for you. But like with any roadmap, at times things may not move as fast as you want them to. Therefore, it's like having a speed hump to slow you down on your journey. That speed hump is probably telling you, hang on, take stock, be caution here. Maybe you didn't drive too carefully where you came from, where you're going, pay attention to ABCD.
Yes.
Or that speed hump may be saying, pause a little bit. Maybe you need to develop yourself more just here before you move on to the next step. Or it's asking you to change direction, because majority of the time the speed hump is probably before a corner or before you turn. So there may be those little signals for you along the way. But the point is, use those signals to take account and to just analyze yourself, as opposed to simply looking ahead and going right over those speed humps, and you may just find that where you end up is not even as glorious as you thought it would be. So to that young lady, life is a journey. Number one, enjoy it. It's important to enjoy.
Did you enjoy it at that time? Or looking back now, you can say, enjoy it. How was it then?
Yeah. So, I will tell you, when I first started my city journey, it was on a customer satisfaction survey, because I had just come out of university. And I thought that I had done the hard part of life. Little did I know that what is lying ahead was even harder. So I thought I needed something a little bit soft. And at that time, City was carrying out a satisfaction survey for customers. And I thought that's easy enough. So I thought, okay, it's 2 months, it's okay. I'll come out of there and, it will be something to add on to my CV. But the minute I walked through those City doors, I loved the culture. I loved the culture. I loved the energy. You spoke about Citibank being known for hard work, etc. I loved all of that. I loved the fact that I was going to be stretched, because with some people you excel even better when you're stretched. So I made that decision that, this may be for 2 months, but I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to try and see how much I can do here, so that I get recognized for who I am and the amount of work that I'll put in. So that 2 months now translated into the 21 years. So what I'm trying to say as well is, number one, City gave me the opportunity to showcase myself. Therefore, I was identified. Right? Yes. It's important, like I was saying, to start from somewhere. Showcase yourself. Show who you are. Show what you're capable of. Right? Thereafter, things just start to unfold for you.
Can I ask, before you go further, not taking you off, did your upbringing prepare you for showing? Because a lot of times, culturally, and the way we've been socialized, people say that women should be seen and not to be heard. So you are saying showcase yourself. Yeah. Doesn't that go against the socialization of a girl? To be quiet, to be passive, to be... what happened that you were bold to show yourself, and you are still showing yourself?
I'm still showing myself, very true. And yes, I agree with you. I think probably at one point, and you probably even see it even now, you probably go to an event, a traditional Zambian event, and maybe the men are seated separate to the women, etc. Yes. And that's just because of the culture that we have. But I think more and more, the girl child is now becoming even more aggressive than they were before. Okay. Now you're finding the girl child is speaking out a lot more, and is not waiting for that moment to be asked, what do you think?
Yes.
So yes. I think those tables have started turning, and I think they have turned. And by virtue of the fact that we've now got so many examples of this glass ceiling having been broken, it's given room and space and air for more speech or voice to be heard, from the girl child. So for me, yes, going back 21 years ago, that decision that I made, yes, it would probably be because of my upbringing. We were allowed to voice our thoughts, and our opinions were also heard. We were also taught that it is not a problem to fail. Failure is simply a lesson in life for you to simply get up and continue moving on and to ask the questions. Because that curiosity mind helps one in terms of development and also shows how interested one is in what they are doing.
Yes.
But going back to this girl child that I'm speaking to right now, you now have so many examples of it's been done, it can be done, and it will continue being done.
Yes.
Therefore, it cannot stop here. Right? There are so many platforms these days. There are so many tools out there for one to be able to succeed. Therefore, it's now up to one to take up that position. The other important thing, which is something that I have pledged to this year, is to mentor more. Right? Mentorship, yes, it was there, as some of us were growing up, probably not spoken about so much. I think the best we probably had was a career talk as you're about to finish your secondary education so that you're getting your mindset in place in terms of what you want to do.
Yes.
But now, mentorship is being spoken about so strongly, and there are so many ways of being mentored. I've pledged to mentor more. Why? Because at times it's through one's life's experiences that you're actually able to help another person. It shouldn't be a question of simply reading about this, but you can actually have a conversation and have somebody, it may not be a mentor, but you could even have a buddy, somebody you can bounce ideas off to say, hey, listen, this is what I'm faced with. I'm at crossroads. What do you think? And mentorship is not about providing solutions and answers. No, it's to help one in terms of direction, in terms of thought process, and to help one along the journey. I've had great mentors in my life, both male and female, and it has truly helped my journey, and I would want to pass that on.
Wonderful.
So to that girl child, you are not alone on this journey, and one should never feel that they are alone. There can be mentors out there that can help you, and please just keep on. You will fall, but rise up and walk. In fact, run. Don't even walk, run. Because this is a journey that's to be enjoyed.
Thank you so much. You are leading, you come in April, you became substantive CEO. So you were acting, that's what I was looking for. Between January, or is it February and April? February and April. And you've come, and the thing you were blessed with was COVID. So you're in a VUCA situation. Most women are in this VUCA situation, uncertainty, and the whole environment is changed. But you need to be profitable because they assess you by results. They won't come and say, oh, there's COVID. They will still expect you to deliver. What are you saying to the women out there that, because this year we are women in leadership achieving equality in a COVID-19 world. What is that woman doing to remain relevant? Everything is changing. If you thought you would be relevant in an office space, now you are more relevant in a digital space. Citibank is known for wanting to be in the digital space. What are you saying to the woman that is adapting, that is evolving, that doesn't want to go extinct? What is your advice? Because you've had about 10 months doing this. What would you say to us?
So I think firstly, Citi has been a great pioneer and has been a pioneer in the Zambian landscape, in the financial services landscape, where digital agenda has been front and center. And that on its own taught me a lot from the very first time I joined Citi. Having had this foresight that one good day it's really going to fall onto being digital, it took a great amount of leadership, and I do applaud the Citi leadership.
So you had visionary leadership.
Yes.
Or you have visionary leadership.
Yes, Citi does have visionary leadership. And having come into this role, as you mentioned, last year, and then COVID hit us, it did make all of us reflect, right? Even just on a personal level, as an institution, it made us reflect, firstly as an institution, in terms of, okay, this is now upon us. What is our top priority going to be? And our top priority, first and foremost, was ensuring that we're still being the best for our clients, right? This has been our global mantra and continues to be. Yes, we do have efficient platforms, etc. But now our clients are also at that point where they're also trying to adapt to this COVID landscape. So making sure that we're providing the necessary support.
So that woman must have a very good market orientation and customer focus.
Yes.
For them to remain relevant.
Yes. So, and I'll tie that as well with the woman. Then secondly, our next agenda was making sure that we're keeping our staff safe. Okay. Because you cannot be the best for your client without having good workforce, healthy workforce, and safe workforce. So that was very, very critical for us. Within our workforce, we do have a good population of women. And yes,
you told me if you would please, because you're very responsive and inclusive to women. Who else is on your leadership team that are women?
Yeah, so we do have other women who are in leadership roles within our management team. My head of compliance at the moment is a woman. Head of legal as well is a woman. But overall, even just when you look at the entire bank composition, we do have a very, very good population of women. Now that being said, and coming back to the Zambian COVID scenario, in terms of what we're doing to ensure that we are being supportive to our staff so that we could then still continue to be the best for our clients, we made sure that even for just the city women, we have an internal city women forum. So being able to make sure that we were speaking amongst ourselves. I think one thing that we can all attest to during this COVID period and working from home is you do tend to get bogged down with trying to keep up with home obligations and duties, homeschooling when it was still very, very prevalent in our lives, and then on top of that, your city obligations and duties. So trying to balance all those through forums such as our City Women's Forum, having the conversations, and even myself having one-on-one conversations with our women, and even just the overall staff component did help a great deal. So to that city woman, to that Zambian woman out there, and what COVID has presented to us, as I mentioned, it's been very reflective. And if there's something this period has taught me, and these past months of being in this role, is that thinking out of the box. It's been so critical, especially during this time. I briefly mentioned having one-on-one conversations with each member of staff.
Yes.
Because we take it for granted when we're all operating in the same office space that, okay, if somebody doesn't work, we have an open door policy here at City, so my door's always open. I think as you came, you found it open. If somebody doesn't walk in, or maybe you meet them in the cafeteria or having tea break or in the corridor, etc., you are bound to meet them. But now this was taken away from us. How do you still stay connected?
Yes.
Because you need to stay connected. That way you will know as well what each staff is going through. You'll be able to share, and you'll be able to still have that kind of interaction with each staff. So I had to think out of the box. The management team as well had to think out of the box so that we could still stay connected. So to that woman out there, this period, yes, it's been hard, guaranteed. Everybody has felt the impact. But how best can you think out of the box to still move along and to still proceed? As women, we are very fortunate that we've also got the skill set of multitasking. That is such a God-given gift.
Yeah.
So where maybe others may struggle, or our men folk may struggle in terms of juggling different things, our women with multitasking, fabulous. That multitasking skill set is one that one needs to embrace, hold on to, and even tap into, even as you think out of the box.
So we must appreciate the woman's skill set in such a time. From this, I will distill that if we want to succeed in the COVID world, you must prioritize your customer and be responsive. You want to see how the things are going and be responsive. To serve your customer, you must take care of your internal customers, which are your staff. And from what you told us, you have even provided them tools to work and adaptive schools, tools that work. You also have to think outside the box. So to that woman out there, she has to think outside the box. It's not business as usual, it's business unusual. And then you keep working at it, multitasking.
Yes.
What else would you say to the, from your experience, what else would you say to the woman that wants to remain relevant and retain? It's easy to get to the top. It's harder to stay at the top. What are you saying to that woman that wants to get to the top and remain at the top? Somebody said, a book actually, talent is not enough. What are you saying to that woman from your experience? 21 years, one of the things I've loved, your gratitude to the organization. Other people grind and they complain, but close to every sentence you have shown gratitude to City and what City has brought you. To that woman that wants to remain there, what does she need to do to be like Lowani?
So I think first thing is, do not forget where you've come from. The build up to where I am today, I look back, I smile, I reflect, and I embrace, right? The people I've met over these years have been a part of this build-up. So to that woman out there, that build-up, do not throw it away. Use it, if anything. And even if your journey has just been 1 year into the direction you want to go, in that 1 year you've learned so much. You've met so many people.
Yes.
And don't think that you've wasted time in just that 1 year, because it's all helping you to where you are going and to be able to stay where you are going. As I mentioned, yes, having taken on the role last year, and even when this opportunity came up for me to do this leadership development program, I thought to myself, Lowani, you're crazy. You've just taken on a new job.
Yeah.
You've got COVID to deal with. You've got staff working from home, and now you wanna take up, you wanna learn, you wanna take up another program. But guess what? There'll never be the best time or the perfect time when there's nothing happening for you to do some of these things. So to that woman, all I'm saying is, you really just need to take everything in its stride. And for as long as an opportunity presents itself to you, grab it. You are never given an opportunity and you will fail at it. No, it has landed with you for a reason. And for it to then be used where you are going, it will help you stay where you are going. So let's not look at things as challenges, but we should look at them as opportunities. And along the way, you will fall. I keep on referring to that. I'll tell you a little story. My father, again, whom I've learned so many things from, just after I finished school, I decided to learn how to drive and surprise my parents. So they didn't know I was learning how to drive. And so I got my cousins to teach me. And it just so happened that one of the lessons didn't go too well. Ended up with a little incident. I'll say little incident. Thank God nobody was hurt. And my father got to know about it, obviously, because there was cost related. This other vehicle had to be repaired. He did not say anything to me. He simply just said, oh, this is what has happened, fine. But he was just observing me. And I think silence is the worst thing ever, because I was thinking, what is he thinking? When is the lecture coming? But it took him a while. In fact, it took him 2 years. He never said anything about it. Then later on, he says to me, so just because of that incident, you decided to stop learning how to drive. And I said to him, but why didn't we have this conversation 2 years ago? And he says, who have you ever known who learned how to ride a bicycle without falling off? That has stuck with me, because it has taught me that there will be failure along the way. There will be incidences along the way. But how you still keep at it is important. So even today, yes, I am doing this job. I've been honored to do this job. I've been graced to do this job. And I will do my level best. I will keep at it. I'll do my level best, because, yes, there can only be greater things ahead.
That's right.
Yeah.
A great man said, I am where I am, as Gideon said, because I stood on the shoulders of people that have gone ahead of me. You have gone ahead of a lot of people in the corporate world. From your vision point, in the world we're going into, Where should that woman be positioning herself now? The young girl that sees herself somewhere. You're looking at an AI, artificial intelligence world. You're looking at a world that is very digital, and the space now is a very global internet space. People talk a lot about STEM. What should a Zambian girl be thinking about now if she wants to be a CEO in 21 years? What career path? What kind of businesses, even in financial world, what specialization she should be thinking of?
Good question. And I think nowadays the options are vast. It's not like probably the time when we were finishing school.
Yes.
Now the options are vast. Even the tools are a lot more. And I say tools because yes, we have social media in all shapes and form, etc. But it's how one uses those tools to be able to then make an informed decision. I cannot say that one should definitely be in the financial services sector or should follow the medical field and all. But all I can say is, when you're young, you've also got a lot of energy, right? So you may pick on a particular career, but you may also have a side skill that you can develop, right? In our time, we didn't have that kind of those kind of options available for us. It was, you're following this. Now you're finding somebody is in medical school, but because they've got a passion for art, they are able to still take art classes on the side and even make a side hustle of it. So what am I trying to say? Yes, follow your passion. Follow your skill set and your ability in terms of what you want to focus on, from a studying perspective, from an education perspective. But also do not ignore that extra talent that you have been given. You will find that with some as well, it's all about the academics, right? One glove doesn't fit all, but it's important to know that with the tools that have been presented, use those tools and use them wisely, because some of these tools can also bring you down. So use them widely. Spread your networks as well, very, very widely. These days, one can get onto LinkedIn, introduce themselves, even have a quick chat with somebody that they've been failing to even have a face-to-face with, especially with the COVID world that we're living in right now. But you can have a conversation, right? And it probably won't even cost you that much. But let's use these tools wisely, and let's reach out more. So yes, as you said, take the bold step, and use these tools as well.
So basically, you are saying to that woman, live and evolve. Don't be afraid to fail. If you fail, evolve. Follow your dream, follow your passion. There's something in you, let it out. It may not be just academic. It is not like before, somebody saying, I'm going to be 21 years. You could discover it before then. Times have changed, and we should follow it. Lowane, we want to thank you. We want to thank you. We know your time is precious. With the challenges you face and responsibilities you carry. You have told us so much about you. You've told us that you come from royalty, and your royal background was very inclusive. Your grandfather, though he was African, but he was very inclusive, and you couldn't tell the difference between siblings and the extensions of family. You said he paid attention to education, and education was critical, but you had a mentor in your father, and you followed his path. He basically paved the way for you, and he taught you so many things, particularly failing is not fatal. You had courage to go into what you thought you liked. Citibank, you fell in love with Citibank. And Citibank gave you the environment where you could grow. So this is the bed where your seed grew, and you've been here, and you're still growing. And you've been an inspiration to the person watching today. And we hope that the next time we come, you'll be ready to pass the baton to the next generation. So I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank Citibank for investing in you and giving Zambia her first female CEO of Citibank. We hope we'll see you in New York very soon, where you're a CEO somewhere, because you say it's unfinished business. So thank you for having us in your office, and thank you for talking to Zambia today. Most importantly, we celebrate you for your achievement at Citibank. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a true honor, and I wish you well as
Thank
well
you.
with this great initiative that you have.
Thank you.
So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Viewers, we have been with Lowani Chibesekunda. She's the first female Zambian CEO of Citibank in Zambia. She has opened up her life to us and shown us what has brought us here. And she has said to us, any woman can do it if you are focused. Focus was a big word for her. She had faith, and God has helped her get here. And today we celebrate the awesome woman from Roma Girls. We celebrate Roma Girls. We celebrate Citibank. We celebrate Mr. and Mrs. Chibesekunda who are watching now. You have given Zambia a gift. The proof of anybody is their product. It's not the money in the bank. It's what they have produced. The Chibesekunda family has produced great people for Zambia and great female CEOs. So thank you for taking that journey, and thank you for everybody for watching us. Please be with us tomorrow when we profile another leading lady in our Zambian history. God bless you. Have a good evening. Good night. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Talking to the woman watching you now, she's sitting in her room, in her living room, on her bed, on her phone. She's not probably a medical doctor, but she's a woman. What would you say to that woman? I could say a lot of things from your story. What would you say to that woman that will bring her to the place of leadership and being the best, where tomorrow people can say, no, you're the one for the job, we can't do it without you? What do you say to that woman watching today? Particularly where we are looking at capacitating women and inspiring women.
Especially young ones.
Especially the young ones.
Especially the young ones.
Because what is inspiring our young girls today is television and social media. And there's no foundation, no basis.
Yes.
It doesn't last, it's a flash in a pan. Where you are talking about since 1996, you've been in the public space and the public art till now, and you're still delivering on a national level. What would you say to the woman watching?
What I would say is that being a girl, you're just as good as the boy child. What I would say to her is that everybody has the potential to become where I have reached.
Yes.
But it takes hard work. You don't just become. The way you carry yourself, even as a girl child, the things you do, people watch you. When I was young, you don't just become a monitor in a class. The head teacher does not say you are a monitor, or you don't just become a captain or of a foot or netball, whatever, or you don't just become the leader of the debating team. You are chosen. People watch you and they see what you're doing, so there is that working hard. There is that focusing in terms of what it is that you want to become. I mean, for a long time I wanted to be a nurse.
Yes.
You have, even when you're a child, you watch TV. Who do you see? What programs are you watching on TV? Do they show women? I mean, what are you watching? What are you reading? Who is around you and how are they behaving? Because you absorb all that.
Yes.
There's always this question that leaders are born. I don't think so. I think that they're not born. Everybody is born with the potential to be a leader.
Yes.
Regardless of whether you are a girl child or you are a boy child. Everybody is born equal and with the equal potential. What happens is you're born with the potential, but that potential has to be nurtured. You have to do things that move, that make you be seen. When I was young, I had a big sister, my big sister,
Yes.
but I had a young sister.
Yes.
And my big sister and my young sister always used to gang up. I would say they were very naughty.
Okay.
Me, I wanted my dad to I wanted to show my,
So you always had a goal
yeah.
that you were pursuing to achieve.
Yeah, so I was like, my big sister and my young sister were naughty and what. I was books. I was,
Yes.
to the extent my mom would say, no, leave Connie alone.
Oh,
We'll do the
just
chores and,
you.
that kind. So you, who are you watching? Who is around you? What do you want to be when you grow up? It doesn't matter when you are young. You can always change. Maybe you want to be something, but you can always change to something else.
Yes.
Well,
you must have something.
But you must have something you want to be. It may not be the thing you're gonna be, but depending on, as you're developing, you know what you want to be, and it can change. And you should be happy, it doesn't matter if it changes. But to the young girl, I would say that education. I think education is very, very important. You may come from a poor family or whatever, but if you gain there's formal education and informal education, and I had both.
Yes.
And both have their roles. There is the one which is formal, you learn how to read and write and plus and that. There's the other education that you learn the skills and all that,
Yes.
To sweep your home, to cook and all that, some of the things.
Negotiate.
Yeah. All kinds of, education. Education is very important. And I would say to that young girl that you must practice, delayed gratification.
Okay. You pay the price and wait for the reward.
Yes.
Not want it now.
Not want it now. You work hard for the reward, and it comes to, and as the child grows up and they now start getting attracted to boys and all that, I would say to them that look after yourself. There is no hurry to start engaging in sex. Delay, delay sexual debut, because it will get you in a I don't know. Because it's when a child starts getting sexually active when they are not
developing.
When they are developing, they lose focus.
Distractions.
They lose focus. They get addicted. They start feeling that they're not. You know what happens when you have a boyfriend and now maybe he leaves you, because that's what will happen.
Yeah. You start feeling broken.
You start feeling broken. You start feeling less. You start now looking for things that will make you get attractive. Useless things. Focus on your education. Focus. Know yourself. Be yourself. Get to somewhere. Dream, but dream with a goal. They say, I have a poster somewhere in the corridor. If you want to predict the future, you have to create it now.
That's right.
So you want to be something, you have to start creating. It's a tough journey, especially for women to get somewhere, because there will be obstacles, or there will be boys or your friend, if it's wrong company, derailing you to where you are going. And even when you do become a leader, because especially with women, there will always be people trying to pull you down. You know, whether it's men or it's women, there will always be resentment, envy, and it will not be obvious, it's subtle.
Okay.
But you have to be strong enough to recognize it, to know that this is because of where you are, that all these roadblocks are in there.
So,
you have to brush.
At the top.
Yes.
There are challenges.
Yeah.
You must be ready for them.
Yes.
It comes with the territory.
It comes with the territory.
It comes with the territory.
If you're going to be at the top, just know that you're going to be kind of maybe lonely, but it shouldn't be like that, because I have lots of friends who are leaders. So it's not lonely, so you always have people, you know, what's this? But in an organization, you are at the top. I'm a very friendly person. I will laugh with the secretary, with the gardener, with everybody. I'm very friendly, and I can see, you know, like, but sometimes when you're too friendly, they think.
Yeah.
But I can be very friendly and laugh with you, and then I'm here and I'm looking at something, and you didn't do it right.
You are firm.
They'll even get a shock, because I will tell you that what is this nonsense? So you have to know when to be friendly and when to be firm. It's all about the organization and where it's going to. And you really have to, if you're gonna lead and be like where I am here, I have to know more than everybody else. I'm more like medical, technical, but I have to know finance, I have to know admin, I have to know what each and every person does.
Well informed.
Yes.
Well rounded.
Yes.
Very systemic. You have a very global view of everything.
So I want this is where I want to see the National AIDS Council. Like, my vision is for this National AIDS Council to be independent of government grant. We are government grant aided. I want a NAC that makes its own money. That's where I am heading. That's my goal. And for us to be able to be making our own money, we have to get our act together. I've been with NAC for about a year. And you have to make sure you have the right people to help you to reach to that vision. Everybody must think the same.
We have been so blessed and very enriched by your story. Time permits us, will not permit us to continue. So Dr. Coney Osborn, we want to say thank you. We want to say